In this new 6-part series, I'm going to show you how me and Cease prepared, executed, and won the World Showdown of Esports 3. Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy Elevate, bringing you part 1 of this series. I'm going to actually just hop right into it. So, before I actually go into each part of the game, of game 1, which is what this video will be, I gotta go over Wailing Woods and kind of what our early game strat was, because they didn't show a lot of it on camera, and they didn't show a lot of our early kills slash our rotations. So pretty much, we wanted to go Wailing mainly for the Infinite Rift that is down there, because with that a lot of things can happen, especially if you get zoned. It leads to a lot of funneling of players, a lot of kills. We can abuse it to get instant height, so we don't need as many mats as other people. Other people can do the farming for us, and it really gives us a very wide range of fights, which are what we're going for early game. So in it, we went lonely sometimes, we went edit house, we went block, and like we basically just used our Infinite Rift early to go have that slight mat advantage, which is a lot less in pop-up, but in this mode it was really important. So we would have like 400 mats total each, and that way we could instantly have high ground back on the block. At the time it was like kind of like a mini tilted with a ton of mat gain, so we were instantly able to get height there. If there's a team edit house, you're instantly able to get height unless if someone surrenders all their mats and just sits up there from the beginning. And Lonely Lodge, a lot of people are going to be rotating for these planes, so this will be a funnel for our fights too, where we can hold this hill. So there's pretty much just a ton of different things we can do off this Infinite Rift that we wanted to kind of achieve. Ghoul and Sean actually went over here at this cabin right there, and we didn't want to fight them early game just because in Wailing there's not a lot of advantages you can have with fights, unless if we're confident like on like what their other people's weaknesses are. So like for us to push them, it would be a lot worse of a fight, especially if we get spotted early. You could get flanked by all the trees and stuff, and it's just not the fight we want to take. So our general strat early would to be abuse the rift as much as we could. So the first game, I'm actually going to show a clip.
See if he's going to perform here today, and if it's going to be, you know, it's going to be the day of the French, but Peaks ends up getting taken out there by Cease.
Helt it down here, and this is what pro players do. They come from different angles on you, and you got to be careful. Exxon lands a shot right there, and it's not enough.
So the first game, we're actually able to catch off DNA something and Piques, who are little unknown players, but they didn't go here the rest of the games, so it was kind of very good for us because it gave us free loot if our loot at Wailing was just so bad we couldn't push anyone. And we really wanted plane control here, so if there's a team edit house, we need to fight them first just because of where they're located on the edge and the fact that there are rifts over here. So if we just straight up fight here, they could rift on us, or they have a really good angle to fight us from the block. So edit house control for our strategy was kind of necessary with our early game fights. So that's why if there's anyone edit house, we always prioritized. So these guys went here one game and one game only. So a lot of people said we were just killing bots, which I guess like they weren't really bad players at all. It's their first tournament, but they only went here one game, so there were 20 points total. I guess that would have made us tie for the win, but considering our late game play and stuff, I don't really know if that's a valid argument. So because we went for early game edit house control, we actually ended up giving the plane up to legit and persecute because they traded having low mats for the plane, so they could fly away because they knew we were there. And so we ended up just taking a rift over here to these, whatever you call these, quads, and we actually ended up quad launching from this point all the way over to around here at Fatal Fields. So we ended up landing right about here, and there was a team over there rotating against this hill, and there was a team up on that hill and a team over here set up in Red Barn. So we ended up actually just farming a lot of this, which was nice because our mats actually weren't that good at this point. And we ended up rotating into Lucky. Now, here we had a bit of a different call for each one of us that made us kind of lose some mats that we probably could have worked on. So we decided to set up and farm out gas station just because it has around like 1.6k mats if you can farm all the edges. And it's in a pretty secluded area, but at the same time, you could get nade spammed. If they have dynamite, it could be a really bad position. So after we farmed this all, we actually ended up moving from this gas station to this outer wall outside of Lucky, where we sat for an entire zone. Now, the thing about this, our position, was I really didn't care if we were high or low at this point, because it was about this big of a zone.
Guys just spinning by the edge of the circle.
And we had one rift to go and 2 launch pads. So I didn't really feel like we needed to have high ground. We just need to have an area where we could launch pad for a long distance, or we could be on low and rift if we're getting pressured. Because of this valley, we opted to use one of our launch pads here instead of one of our rifts, because just like the way the valley works, we could get in pretty far, and we ended up doing that, and we ended up actually setting up, I think, right here on this hill. Now, this spot was actually super advantageous because all the teams that went Winter World actually were rotated around here. And as you guys can see, with our turtle here that we had set up, we have a perfect position to shoot these guys as they come down hills, because I don't know if you know this or not, if you come down a hill, it's pretty hard to protect yourself. As you're dropping, it's very difficult. So me and Cease ended up actually getting 2 kills on, at least 1 kill on someone coming down this hill, and as the zone closed and the turtles were around us, we were actually able to just use our ARs and stuff to get more kills. So I think at this point we had 4 to 5 kills because of just using our positioning better than anyone else and stuff. And also server lag definitely did input to it, because everyone was being so passive. So we definitely had the most kills in this game. Maybe Aiden and Kayun had more, but we're definitely in the best position for the kills we got. The only problem was these kills were not lootable, so we couldn't get any of this loot just due to it was in the valley, and ammo was kind of running on low since the edit house people didn't really have a lot of ammo for us off this. Wanted to do our path strategy, basically our build path, like something like this, and Cease then stays back and get picks as the zone moves in. It's kind of, Vinny and Zex do it a lot, but I do it, I mainly only build the paths compared to they both kind of contribute. And we ended up getting, I think, one more kill due to that. And at the end, we actually ended up getting boomboxed.
Down, Devour's out of here, but still, though, you have Cease and Elevate, who have been looking really good in this round 1.
Do you hear that? Boomboxes are out here. Everyone's on the low.
Around this time, and we died. That was game 1. Now I'm gonna do takeaways of what I learned from it, and basically what I did good, what I did bad. So the great things that we did were, early game, we really wanted to come out aggressive. We didn't want to have a passive tournament. Especially, we felt like kills would really be the like winning effect on this if you got like 4 kills in 3rd place, the same as win with 1 kill. So we really thought like kills were very important, especially if we could do both, get early kills to set us up for late game with loot and stuff. And so we really came out aggressive, and it showed, and it really gave us a lot of that extra confidence that we needed going into this tournament. The bad thing was we gave up plane control, which definitely in future videos I'm going to be talking a lot more in depth about that, why that was so important to our strategy. Our rotate over to Fatal was actually really clean. I don't think we took any damage, maybe a few shots, but everyone was being passive, so that also influenced it. Our late game, our use of utility was actually really bad. I felt like us setting up down here was probably a bad idea. We should have just gone on this hill. The like 50 extra mats we got from the brick was really bad, and all our kills were non-impact kills. Half of it is because for late game we probably could have won this game. If like we could have won this game, but the boombox kind of